Bible, the Quran is saying that it takes, before Allah, it is a 1 day. This is a 1 day journey when he sends his angels to come on earth and they go back to him. It's 1 day. But when it comes to our measurement, it is a 50,000 years. Hello? Mr. Muslim friend. Or you are saying that because Gabriel was carrying him, they used only 1 day. If Gabriel was carrying him, they used only 1 day. The Quran is saying that, I read that place again, it's Surah 70 verse 4. The angels and the spirit ascend unto him in a day, whereof the measure is 50,000 years. So it took Muhammad a minimum of, if it is 1 day, according to our measurement, is 50,000 years. You will say, but Muhammad was not even 100 years. I'm reading your Quran. 50,000 years. So how many years did it take Muhammad to leave the earth? If that story is true, how many years did it take Muhammad to ascend from Mecca to Al-Aqsa Mosque, and from there, that is the 9th journey, and from there to ascend to the 7th heaven? How many years did it take? Is it 50,000 years or 1,000 years? And how old was Muhammad? Hello, you are welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Botwe-Chrysolite. Today we are going to learn something about Muhammad. You know, the Muslims say that Muhammad was able to travel from earth, from Mecca to the 7th heaven. The Muslims say there are 7 heavens. Do you understand? But we Christians say there are 3 heavens. The atmospheric heavens, the starry heavens, and where God is. 3 heavens. The Muslims say there are 7 heavens. And today in our lesson, we are not going to use the Bible. We're going to use the Quran and the Hadith, the books of Islam, to determine where Muhammad went, what he did there, and whether it's a true story. Whether it's a true story. And I'm saying Muhammad is said to have a 9th travel or a 9th journey, which is known as the Isra. And then there's the Isra, and then there's the Miraj. The Isra and the Miraj. That is the 9th journey and the ascension. Muhammad is said to have traveled from Mecca to Jerusalem. And then from Jerusalem, he traveled to the 7th heaven. I want to read. This is from Quran. This is from Quran 53, 13 to 18. Quran 53, 13 to 18. I read. Oh, that is Surah Al-Isra. Surah Al-Isra. And then Surah Al-Isra 17:1. And then Surah Al-Najm 53, 13 to 18. So I read Surah Al-Isra 17:1. Glory to Allah, who did take his servant for a journey by night from the sacred mosque to the farthest mosque, whose presence we did bless, in order that we might show him some of our signs. For he is the one who heareth and seeth all things. And seeth all things. That is Surah chapter 17, verse 1. So according to the Muslims, Muhammad was able to travel from the mosque in Mecca to the farthest mosque. And the farthest mosque, according to them, is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is in Jerusalem. Al-Aqsa Mosque is in Jerusalem. And through these lessons, we will determine whether the Al-Aqsa Mosque, whether he traveled to Al-Aqsa Mosque or he didn't travel to Al-Aqsa Mosque. And we are going to determine when he was on his way to the 7th heaven, who he went with. Do you understand? We are going to determine the number of days, or the number of minutes, or the number of years, or the number of centuries Muhammad took. If I say decades or centuries, some of you say, how can it be? How can Muhammad have used centuries to travel to the 7th heaven? Because Muhammad was not even 100 years. So how can I say he used centuries? We will learn from the Quran and we will learn from the Hadith the number of years, or the number of minutes, or the number of days Muhammad used. So first, Muhammad traveled from Mecca to Jerusalem. And then from Jerusalem, he's said to have traveled to the 7th heaven. One thing that we will learn also is the number of, the Muslims say that they have 124,000, and they say that Allah has 124,000 prophets. We will determine and we will know the type of prophets he met. And we will know the type of prophets he met in what? The first heaven, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, to the seventh heaven. We will learn to know whether Allah is actually in the seventh heaven or there is a place where Allah is. We will ask ourselves why Muhammad has to travel to the seventh heaven when he could be on earth and speak to Allah for Allah to hear him. But the first thing I want us to know is it's not true that Muhammad traveled from what? The mosque in which he was in Mecca to Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. Because the Al-Aqsa Mosque, at the time Muhammad was alive, it has not been built. You understand? Muslims will tell you that the farthest mosque at that time was at Al-Aqsa Mosque. Do you understand? At that time there was nothing like the mosque in Ghana and Nigeria. Do you understand? Because at that time there was not even a mosque in Ghana and Nigeria and America and so on. Do you understand? There was no mosque. So the farthest mosque they were saying is the Alaska Mosque. That is I think their third most important mosque. But it's not true, because the Alaska Mosque was built about 20 to 30 years when Muhammad had died. So there was not like Alaska Mosque. The fact of the matter is when Muhammad was even alive, there was no Islam in Jerusalem. No, there was no Islam in Jerusalem. The people were going there and coming and talking to people and so on, but they didn't have a mosque in Jerusalem. There was no mosque in Jerusalem. When Muhammad was going, he said that Muhammad sat on what? On an animal, a certain animal. And the animal is seen as what is known as the burak. It's like a pony, it's like some type of animal, like a horse, like a camel. It has some type of description or you cannot determine exactly what this is, but the Muslims say that it is called burak. And it's like a pony where Muhammad sat on it and went from the Mecca Mosque in Mecca to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. You see, that is known as the ninth journey. After the ninth journey, then somebody came for Muhammad, and that person, they said, is called Angel Jibril or Angel Jibril. So when Muhammad went to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, according to them, when it was the following day, Angel Gabriel came for him to go to the seventh heaven. So the animal was left in Jerusalem, according to the Muslims, and then Angel Jibril or Angel Gabriel came to see them. So now Angel Gabriel is he has come for Muhammad, and then he's taking them to the seventh heaven. So let's see this to be the first heaven. This to be the first heaven. This place is somehow the earth. This is the earth. Do you understand? And then they took Muhammad, according to Islam, they took Muhammad to the what? The first heaven. So this is the first heaven. They took Muhammad to the first heaven. Now, according to Islam, Muhammad met some of the prophets of Allah in the first heaven. Let's determine and get to know the prophets that he met in the first heaven. Let me read. Some person read Sahih al-Bukhari 38:87. Listen to Sahih al-Bukhari 38:87. Then Gabriel ascended with me to the nearest heaven and asked for his gate to be opened. And he was asked, "Who is it?" Gabriel replied, "Gabriel." It was asked, "Who is accompanying you?" Gabriel replied, "Muhammad." It was asked, "Has he been called?" Gabriel said, "Yes." So the gate was opened. And we went over to the nearest heaven, and there we saw a man sitting with some people. We saw a man sitting with some people on his right and some on his left. When he looked towards his right, he laughed. And when he looked towards his left, he wept. Then he said, "Welcome, O pious prophet and pious son." I asked Gabriel, "Who is he?" He replied, "He is Adam. And the people on his right and left are souls of his offspring. Those on his right are the people of paradise, and those on his left are the people of hell. And when he looked towards his right, he laughs. And when he looks towards his left, he weeps." Now, what is happening here? Angel Gabriel has taken what? Muhammad to the first heaven. And can you tell me, right in the comment box, can you tell me the prophet he met? According to what we have read, the prophet he met is known as Adam. Is known as Adam. So in the first heaven, the person he met, who is known as a prophet, is what? Adam. Adam was the person he met in heaven. And there was something, they were saying that when they were going to enter the gate of the heaven was closed. And then Gabriel knocked on the door of heaven. And then an angel, that angel has not been identified. The angel asked, "Who are you? Who is there?" And he said, "I am Gabriel." Then he said, "Who are you with?" They said, "I'm with Muhammad." And they asked Angel Gabriel, "Has he been given permission to come to the first heaven or to come to heaven?" Then he said, "Yes." And they opened. When they opened, they saw a man who is identified as what? Adam. And this man who is identified as Adam, there were some people who were on his right, and there were some people who were on his left. Those on his left, Gabriel said that those on his left are people who are supposed to go to paradise, and those on his left are people. Those on Adam's left are people who are supposed to go to hell's fire. And when Adam sees those on his right, he laughs, he smiles, he's happy. But when he sees those on his left, he weeps. And then those people, those on the left and the right, are the offspring of Adam. Are the offspring of Adam. From there, after the introductions and the greetings and so on, they decided to travel to the second heaven. But before we go to the second heaven, it's a travel. Do you understand? And I and you, as human beings, none of us travel at the speed of light. No. None of us travel at the speed of light. Even the aeroplanes we sit inside to go to various countries and so on, none travels at the speed of light. Now, let us know, before we reach the second heaven, let us know the number of days and the number of years that Prophet Muhammad and Jibril use. Now, do you know the number of years angels use to travel from earth to where the Islamic Allah is? Do you know? Do you know the number of years it takes them to come from where the Allah is, the seventh heaven, to earth to give message? Do you know the number of years? Let us read the Quran. Let us read the Quran. You can turn to Surah Al-Majid, Marij, or Surah chapter 70, verse 4. Surah chapter 70, Surah 70, verse 4. Surah 70, verse 4. Let me write it somewhere here. Surah 70, verse number 4. Surah 70, verse 4. Let's read Surah 70, verse 4. Listen very carefully. The angels and the spirit ascend unto him in a day whereof the measure is 50,000 years. Quran 70, verse 4. Listen very carefully. I read again. The angels, that's the angels of Allah, and the spirits ascend unto him, Allah, in a day, whereof the measure is 50,000 years. So what he's simply saying is, when it comes to when it's about Allah, the angels come to him, they see it, he sees it as a day. But when it comes to our measurement, it is 50,000 years. One day is 50,000 years. Let me read it again. The angels and the spirit ascend unto him in a day, whereof the measure is 50,000 years. This verse suggests that the journey of angels to Allah takes 50,000 years. According to our measurements, 50,000 years. Which means that when an angel of Allah is coming from where Allah is to earth, according to our measurements, it's 50,000. But according to Allah, it's one day. Do you understand? According to our measurements, it's what? 50,000 years. You know, I keep on telling you that when Waraja was writing his book, Waraja, the cousin uncle of Muhammad's first wife Khadija, when he was translating the Bible, he was translating the Bible into Arabic, and then he didn't finish, and then he died. Then Muhammad took the book and then re-edited it and so on. There are some things in the Bible which Muhammad changed. He put fairy tales, folklore, the tradition of what was happening in Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula, and other things of other religions. Muhammad added all. He substituted some things. He changed some things that the Bible have said into something that he thinks is right. Do you understand? And this is one of the passage this verse is coming from, where I just read in the Quran. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. He said, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. So when it comes to God, one day is like 1,000 years. And 1,000 years of we humans is what? One day before God. Because God is eternity. There is no time with God. There is no beginning and there is no end with God. It is in this same vein, Muhammad said, please, I want to tell you again, the Quran is not from any God. And according to the Quran, I'll put the verse here. According to the Quran is the word of a noble messenger. Do you understand? The Quran, they are the words or things that a noble messenger, and the messenger of Allah is known as Muhammad. Do you understand? So the Bible, the Quran is saying that it takes, before Allah, it is a one day. This is a one-day journey when he sends his angels to come on earth and they go back to him. It's one day. But when it comes to our measurement, it is a 50,000 years. Hello? Mr. Muslim friend. Or you are saying that because Gabriel was carrying him, they used only one day. If Gabriel was carrying him only one day, the Quran is saying that, I read that place again, it's Surah 70 verse 4. The angels and the spirit ascend unto him in a day, whereof the measure is 50,000 years. So it took Muhammad a minimum of, if it is one day, according to our measurement, is 50,000 years. You will say, but Muhammad was not even 100 years. I'm reading your Quran. 50,000 years. Let me read another Quran. This is 50,000 years. Let's read Surah 32 verse 5. Surah 32 verse 5. That is Surah As-Sajdah. Surah 32 verse 5. He says, I read, he directs the command from heaven to the earth. Then it will ascend to him in a day, the measure of which is 1,000 years of what you count. Hello, this one is even clearer. He says that, I read again, Allah directs the command from heaven to the earth. Then it will ascend to him in a day. When Allah commands, it comes, and then in a day, it gets back to him. You don't understand? In a day. But the measure of which is 1,000 years of what you count. You, the human being. The surah is being spoken to you. It says, when you are counting, this is one day for Allah, it's 1,000 years for you. 1,000 years for you. This is a small contradiction. This part said 50,000. This one says 1,000. Which one is right, my Muslim friend? Which one is right? He directs the command from heaven to the earth, then it will ascend to him in a day. The measure of which is 1,000 years. Of what you count? Quran 32 verse 5. And this verse suggests that when Allah gives a command, according to Allah, it is one day. But when it comes to our measurement, it's 1,000 years. And the first surah that I read, when it comes to our measurement, it's 50,000 years. So how many years did it take Muhammad to leave the earth? If that story is true, how many years did it take Muhammad to ascend from Mecca to Al-Aqsa Mosque, and from there, that is the 9th journey, and from there to ascend to the 7th heaven? How many years did it take? Is it 50,000 years or 1,000 years? And how old was Muhammad? If you're a Muslim, I've read your Quran. One day is what, 1,000 years? Or one day is 50,000 years. But when it comes to our counting, that one day is 50,000 years or 1,000 years. Or 1,000 years. So, like I said, Muhammad, in copying our Bible, did wrong mistranslations. He did wrong, many mistranslations. Do you understand? He did many mistranslations. That is why I want you, if you're a Muslim, to give your heart to Christ. He did many mistranslations. Like what the 2 Peter says, one day before God is 1,000 years. Do you understand? One day, you see, our one day before God, our 24 hours, is like 1,000 years to God. And 1,000 years, our 1,000 years is like one day. So, the one day for Allah is 50,000 years for we human beings. And the question is this: your Muhammad used 50,000 years to go to see his Allah. Did your Muhammad use 50,000 years? That's the question I ask you. And I ask that question again. Please, if you're a Muslim, just write the answer in the comments box. And if you are a Muslim, please, we are not debating, and I'm not challenging you. I'm using your Quran. I'm not using the Bible. I'm using your Quran. Did your Muhammad use 1,000 or 50,000 years? And if your Muhammad, according to your Quran, one day is like 50,000 years, how old was your prophet before he died? Let's go on. Now let us go to the second heaven. So the first heaven had only Adam. Now let us go to the second heaven. Let's go to the second heaven. The second heaven. And then the people or person you will see in the second heaven will shock you. Hello? You know, according to Islam, you see, according to we Christians, we have only one heaven. And that is where God is. Which is spiritual. The second and the first heaven, they are the atmospheric heaven and the starry heavens. That's why I can see them with my eyes. That's why we are not going to stay there. We are going to be in heaven where God is. But according to the Muslims, they have 7 heavens. And wherever the people you will see in the first, second, third heaven and so on will tell you exactly how Islam is supposed to think about that people. That is the people, their reputation, their level. Do you understand? And when somebody is in the 7th heaven, I ask you a question. If somebody is in the 7th heaven and the person in the 3rd heaven, which one is higher? Which one is closer to Allah? The one in the 3rd heaven and the one in the 5th heaven, which one is closer to Allah? Please answer that question. Which one is closer to Allah? And I'm saying we are now reached the 2nd heaven, and you'll be shocked the person or the persons whose name we mention. But what I want you to know is that people are higher than Adam, who is in the 1st heaven. Do you understand? And the person who is in the 3rd and 4th heaven, they are higher than those who are in the 2nd heaven. Yes. Because as he's going, he's getting closer to what? Allah. As he's going, as Muhammad he's been taken to closer to the 7th heaven, he's getting closer to Allah. Do you understand? So the person in the 1st heaven is the lowest. So according to Muslim or Islam, Adam is the lowest. of all God's, of all Allah's prophets. Now let's look at the second heaven. Surah chapters 162a. I read. Then he ascended with me. It is Muhammad is talking. Then he ascended, that he is Gabriel. Then he ascended with me to the second heaven and asked for his gate to be opened. It opened. It was said, who is it? He said, Gabriel. It was said, who is with you? He said, Muhammad. It was said, has he been sent for? He said, yes. When we got there, I saw, they're going to mention the prophets of Allah who are seen in the second heaven. They're going to mention their name. And when we got there, I saw Yaira. And then I saw, if you know who Yaira is, write it in the comment section. I saw Yaira. And then I saw Isa. Yaira and Isa are in the second heaven. Who is Yaira? John the Baptist is known as Yaira, according to Islam, John the Baptist. And when you do know who is Isa, Isa is, according to Islam, Isa is Jesus Christ. So, according to Islam, those who are above Adam is John the Baptist. John the Baptist. John the Baptist. This is serious. And then who? And then who? Jesus Christ. And then Jesus. John the Baptist and Jesus. Are you surprised? According to Muhammad, he saw in the second heaven, he saw John the Baptist, Yahya, and then Yahya, I can't pronounce it well. And then he saw Isa. He saw John the Baptist and he saw Jesus Christ. Which means that Muhammad is raising himself so high because Muhammad knows that Christianity, when he was alive, and even presently, there are more Christians than Muslims. And then people believe more in Jesus Christ. So he wanted people to know that even Jesus Christ, according to when he was traveling to heaven, the persons he was seeing, Jesus Christ was only above Adam. Because Jesus Christ and John the Baptist were in the second heaven, according to Muhammad. Don't you sense a certain kind of pride and looking down upon Jesus Christ? Don't you sense it? He saw Yaira and Isa, who are maternal cousins. Gabriel said to me, they are Yaira and Isa. Greet them. So Muhammad greeted them. And they returned their greetings. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Then they said, welcome to the righteous brother and the righteous prophet. This narration has placed Jesus Christ and Baptist only higher than Adam. But those who are in the third heaven and so on, they are higher than Jesus Christ. He has lowered Jesus Christ, don't you think so? Muhammad has lowered Jesus Christ. And that is a contradiction. Muhammad has lowered Jesus Christ. And I want to read a place in the Quran for you people to hear, to show that Muhammad is contradicting himself and contradicting the Bible, contradicting the Quran. Listen to Surah chapter 3 verse 45 to tell you, even in the Quran again, who is most distinguished or among the Muslims. They say Jesus is a Muslim. That's what they say. They say Jesus Christ is a Muslim. They say Adam is a Muslim. Abraham, they say they are Muslims. No problem. Among the Muslims, let us see the person who is so high. I've done a video. You can search for that in my channel. I want to read Surah Al-Imran, that is Surah 3, Quran 3, verse 45. When the angels said, "Oh Mary, indeed, Allah gives you good tidings of a word from Him, whose name shall be the Messiah." Listen very carefully. In the Quran 3:45, the angel said to Mary, "Indeed, Allah gives you good tidings of a word from Him, whose name will be the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, distinguished in this world and hereafter, and among those brought near to Allah." Muhammad said And I think that time, I think his mind was, he wanted to please the Christians to show, sometimes Takuya and Torina and Muruna and Kisman, the arts and deceptions of Muslims. Muhammad, depending upon the people he meets, he can start to say some things. So I think there were some people there who were Christians and he wanted to please them. So he said, the angels said that Jesus Christ, or Jesus, is distinguished in this world. At the time Muhammad was alive, when he was saying it, Jesus Christ is distinguished. The others are not distinguished. Or let me say, Jesus Christ is the most distinguished person among all those who are Allah's prophets. The most distinguished in the world. And first in the world, second in the hereafter, that is in future, second in future, and then third of those who are brought near to Allah. If Allah is supposed to be, let's take it that if Allah is supposed to be somewhere here, if Allah is supposed to be somewhere here, let me just name the heavens. If this is the first seven, this will be the third. This is the third. Then this is the fourth. This is the fifth. This is the sixth. This is the sixth. Okay, let me make it a little. Let me make it a little. If this is the second, if this is the third, and this is the fourth, this is the fifth, this is the sixth, and this is the seventh, and this is the seventh. And Allah, the man who has two hands, Allah, and then Allah, who has two, the Allah is here. And they are saying that he is the most distinguished in the world. That is talking about Jesus Christ or Isa in the world, the hereafter, and among those who brought near to Allah. So if Allah is here, and those who are brought near to Allah, Jesus Christ should not be in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. He should be closer to Allah. So when Jesus Christ has been put in the second heaven, that is contradiction. That is contradiction. I have read the Quran, and I'm reading another part of the Quran, and I'm saying that's why this contradiction shows that the Quran is not from a God, it's from Muhammad. Contradictions in the Quran. It's from Muhammad. It's not from any God. It's from Muhammad. It's from Muhammad. Jesus Christ is distinguished on earth when Muhammad on earth in the future and among those who come closer to Allah. Let's go on. So Jesus Christ is seen and John the Baptist in the second heaven. Now let us go to the third heaven. The third. This is the third heaven. This is the third heaven. And let's look at those who are in the third heaven. Those who are in the third heaven. During the Miraj, that's the ascension, Prophet Muhammad is reported to have seen somebody in the third heaven. And we'll get to know who is in the third heaven. Who is in the third heaven? I read Surah Sahih Muslim 162a. During the Miraj ascension, Prophet Muhammad went to the third heaven, and in the third heaven, he saw somebody who is there. And that person, according to the reading, that person is known as Yusuf. Is known as Yusuf or Joseph. Or Joseph. Yusuf is Joseph. So, Muhammad, the greetings are almost the same. When he goes to the gate and he knocks, and then the angel who is unknown asks, who are you? Then he says, I am Gabriel. Then they ask, who are you with? They say, I'm Muhammad. Then he says, I am with Muhammad. Then he asks Angel Gabriel, but has he been given permission to come to heaven? Then he says, yes. And then the door is opened. Muhammad greets them. He greets the person who is in the second or third or the fourth heaven. He greets them. And when he greets them, and then he continues to the other heaven. So in the third heaven, Muhammad met somebody who is known as Yusuf. He is known as Yusuf. And the Yusuf that he met is known in English as Joseph. And there's a description that is given to the Yusuf. They say Yusuf is so beautiful. And Yusuf or Joseph is a man. And they use beautiful for him. I don't know why. Maybe the same so extra handsome. They say Yusuf is so beautiful. From there, they went to the fourth heaven. You see, they went to the fourth heaven. They are ascending. They are ascending. This is ascension. Ascension. They are ascending into Allah's paradise. Ascension. They are ascending into Allah's paradise. And now they've reached the fourth place. So I want you to know, or you can answer the question. Between Joseph, John the Baptist, and Jesus, who is closer to Allah? I want to go if you have read. And who is more respectful, or who has more honor? Joseph, John the Baptist, and Jesus. Who has more honor? According to what we are studying. Is it not Joseph? So according to what Muhammad said when they were taking him to heaven, what he saw, he made Jesus Christ even lower. And he even made Joseph higher than Jesus Christ. So let us go to the fourth heaven. Let's go to the fourth heaven. The fourth heaven, the same welcome and salutations and greetings is done. Who are you? He said, I'm Gabriel. And what do you? I said, I've been asked to come to heaven. Who are you with? I'm Gabriel. I'm with Muhammad. Has he been given permission and so on? And then he greets the people there. The person who was greeted in the fourth heaven is known as who can guess? If you know, just write in the comment section. The person is known as Idris. And do you know who Idris is? Idris is Enoch. Idris is Enoch. So the person in the fourth heaven is known as Enoch. Let us go to the fifth heaven. So from there, Muhammad is rising. He's getting closer to the Islamic Allah. Muhammad is rising. Is now reached the fifth heaven. The fifth heaven. And can you guess the prophets he met in the fifth heaven? The prophet he met in the fifth heaven is known as Harun or Aaron. Aaron. That's the prophet he met. And I know what it means. I hope you understand what it means. It means that Aaron is higher than Enoch. Aaron is higher than Joseph. Aaron is higher than John the Baptist and Jesus. Aaron is higher than Adam. He met Aaron in the fifth heaven, and the greetings went on. And then from the fifth heaven, he went to the sixth heaven. So this is the sixth heaven. And in the sixth heaven, Muhammad met somebody. Can you just guess? There are 124,000 prophets according to Islam. And do you know what we have reached? We've used only about seven. Only about six. Do you see? Adam, John the Baptist, Jesus Christ, 3, Joseph, 4, Enoch, 5, Aaron, 6. And there are 124,000. The Muslims say that the Allah has 124,000 prophets. Where are the other prophets? Where are they? Are they not in the first heaven, the second heaven, the third heaven, the fourth heaven, the fifth heaven? Where are they? Or they are in the sixth and the seventh heaven? The 124,000. Where are they? Let's go on. In the sixth heaven, he met Musa. So in the sixth heaven, the person there is seen as Musa. He met Musa in the sixth heaven. Musa. And you know who Musa is? That is Moses. When he met Musa, they greeted themselves, and so on. So here, this place is very, very important. We understand this place very, very well. And what happens in this place, or what's going to happen to the person who is in this place. So he met Musa and Prophet Musa. From there, he went to the to the seventh. He went to the seventh heaven. He went to the seventh heaven. That is the last place according to Islam where they said Muhammad, where they said Allah is. But we'll get to know whether Allah is even in the seventh heaven. He went to the seventh heaven, and do you know the person he met in the seventh heaven? Can you guess? Can you guess? He met Ibrahim. He met Ibrahim, or the one known as Abraham. He met Ibrahim, or Abraham. He met Ibrahim, or Abraham, in the seventh heaven. Which means that Abraham, among all the prophets of Allah, Abraham is the highest. Yes. Among all the prophets of Allah, Jesus Christ and Adam, they are the Amori, they are down. And the highest is Abraham, according to Islam. And according to Muhammad, if you're a Muhammadan, please, I listen to me. According to your prophets, Abraham is in the highest. Abraham is in the highest. Now let us learn something. Let us learn something. Now, let's say this is the seventh heaven. Let's say this to be the seventh heaven. This is the seventh heaven. This is the seventh heaven. This is the seventh heaven where prophet Abraham is. Do you know that in the seventh heaven, that is not where Allah is? That is not where Allah is. That is not where Allah is. In the seventh heaven. Let me try and read some Quranic verses. Okay, let me read the Sahih Muslim 164 again. Then we traveled until we reached the seventh heaven. And I came to Ibrahim. The narrator said, and Ibrahim is what? Abraham. During the Miraj of Ascension, Prophet Muhammad is supposed to have met Ibrahim or Abraham in the seventh heaven. And I think he was still looking for Allah. But he was not seeing Allah. In the first heaven, he didn't see Allah. The second, Muhammad didn't see Allah. And I think he was wondering, but where is Allah? I have come to the first heaven, there's no Allah. Because at the time Muhammad was before Muhammad traveled to the seventh heaven, he never knew that there were seven heavens. So he was thinking that when he reached the first heaven, he would see Allah. And there was no Allah in the first heaven. He went to the second heaven, and there was no Allah. He said, what is happening? Am I confused? And I think Gabriel will tell him that, don't worry, we are still going up. They reached the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and I think one was said that, this one, I'm tired, you know something, please give me water to drink. Then he asked, Muhammad told Gabriel, give me water to drink. I believe he was giving water. He was giving water to drink. And he was wondering whether maybe he's lost. Or maybe he was having hallucination. Do you understand? You know, a time came, it is in the Quran and the Hadith, where some Jews came to Muhammad. And when they came to Muhammad, the Islamic book says that they were able to bewitch Muhammad. They were able to bewitch Muhammad. And for more than 1 year, Muhammad did not even understand what he was saying. Do you understand? He didn't even understand what he was saying. And to the extent that his wife was sometimes they were demanding sex from him. And he said, but I've been sleeping with people. And the answer said, no, they've not been sleeping with us for more than 1 year now. You've not slept with any of us. He said, eh? And the Quran says that, I will put the quotation here. The Quran says that Muhammad was bewitched. Maybe during this period, when he was saying, it was a period of when he was bewitched by the Jews. They changed his mind. And please, I'm saying again, I'm not insulting Muhammad. I'm putting the quotation here for you to know that your prophet was bewitched. And the question you should ask yourself is, this travel to the seventh heaven, was it not the period when he was bewitched? When he didn't even know what is happening to him? When he didn't even know what was happening to him? He was bewitched. And then he went to the seventh heaven. When he reached the seventh heaven, he was still not seeing Allah. He said, where is Allah? And the angel told him he shouldn't worry. And then there were some things that he saw. When he saw Abraham kneeling on a tree known as the Lot tree. Abraham was kneeling on the tree. Do you understand? Which means that tree was beyond Abraham. And the Sahih Bukhari, the hadith says that no one can go beyond that Lot tree. No one can go beyond that Lot tree if that person has not been invited. Jesus Christ was even in the second heaven. No. He has still not even read the third and the fourth and the fifth. And even in the seventh, it was Abraham. And even after Abraham, there was what is known as the Lot tree. What is known as the Lot tree? L-O-T, Lot tree. The Lot tree. What is known as the Lot tree? There was what is known as the Lot tree. Or what Muslims they call it, what they call was is let me write it here. Sidrat al Muntaha. Sidrat al Muntaha. That's the name of the Lot tree. Sidrat al Muntaha. That's the Lot tree. Do you understand? And it's the utmost boundary. The Lot tree is the utmost boundary. Is the ultimate boundary. The Lot tree is the ultimate boundary. The Lot tree is the utmost boundary. And from there, Muhammad said, is from there before you can meet Allah. From there before you can meet Allah. The Lot tree, it is considered this thing. Let me read Surah Al-Najm. Surah Al-Najm, or Quran 53, verse 14 to 18. Quran 53, 14 to 18. I read. And indeed, he, Muhammad, saw him in another descent at the Lot tree of the utmost boundary. Near it is a garden of refuge, where they covered the Lot tree, that which covered it. The sight of Muhammad did not swerve, nor did it transgress its limit. He suddenly saw the greatest signs of his Lord. He saw the greatest signs of his Lord. So beyond the Lot tree, there was something else. This is the seventh heaven. After the seventh heaven is the Lot tree. After the Lot tree, there is a garden of refuge. The garden of refuge. There's a garden of refuge. Let me write it well so that you can see it. Let me write it very, very well. Let me write it. We have, if this is the seventh heaven, after the seventh heaven, then we have the Lot tree. Do you see? After the Lot tree, you have the garden of refuge. Garden of refuge. After the garden of refuge seems to cover the Lot tree. Do you see? It seems to carry the Lot tree. Don't you see that this is another copy of the Garden of Eden, where it has the tree of life and so on inside. So the Lot tree is there, and then there's a garden of refuge. Allah has still not been seen. We have passed the seventh heaven. The Lot tree is in the seventh heaven, and Ibrahim is leaning towards it, and beyond it we have the garden of refuge. And the garden, you have the garden of refuge. I want to read to you a hadith for you to know what happens there. Surah Al-Najm 53, 14 to 18. I'm afraid to read it again. And indeed, he, Muhammad, saw him in another descent at the low tree of the utmost boundary, Near it is the garden of refuge. When they covered the low tree, which covered it. The low tree which covered it. The sight of Muhammad did not swerve, nor did he transgress its limit. He suddenly saw of the greatest signs of his Lord. So when he read the garden of refuge, he saw the signs of his Lord Allah. So Allah is not here. Allah is not here. Allah is not here. And you see how Muhammad has promoted himself. He is not in the first, second, third, fourth. He has even passed Abraham. And he's gone beyond the road and gone beyond the garden of refuge. I believe that's where the refugees are. And he's seen the signs of his Allah. And there are some things that are in this garden of refuge. Let me read Sahih Muslim 1628. I read Sahih Muslim 1628. Then he was taken up to the height where he heard the cries of pain. So after the garden of refuge, he was taken up again. He started to go up. He was taken up where he heard the scratching of pains. People were writing. What were they writing? The question you ask yourself, what were they writing? Is there any other words? That is not the Quran. Or that is where the Quran was being written. That's what you say. And the question you ask yourself is, at the time Moses went into the seventh heaven, was there a Quran? At the time Moses went into the seventh, was there a Quran? And the question you ask me is, but what was Muhammad going to do in the seventh heaven? That is Allah could not tell him once he was on earth. He didn't tell him when he was on earth in his house. He didn't tell him when he was in the mosque. What is he supposed to receive from his Allah? He said, maybe you will think maybe some precious things. So, do you know why he went to his heaven? If you know, it's right in the comment section. If you know, it just tell me or tell yourself or tell your friends. Do you know? Just tell one another. You will know why Muhammad had to use 50,000 years or 1,000 years to reach where his Allah is. I will tell you. But now let us look at some things that are or might be or are in the garden or the things that are beyond the seventh heaven. These things are beyond the seventh heaven. And what happens in the seventh heaven? So in the garden of refuge, in that garden, my friends have decided not to be writing today. In that garden of refuge, he saw one scratching of pens. And people were writing. He saw scratching of pens. That is one thing that is happening in that garden. People are writing. In the garden of refuge, are they refugees? People were writing in the garden of refuge. And then the second thing that will surprise you, that are also being done in the garden of refuge. In the garden of refuge. After the scratching of pains, listen, then Allah enjoined 50 prayers upon his ummah when I returned. Okay. So when he saw the writing, he was asked to go and pray 50 times. Muhammad was told by his Allah that when he comes to his ummah, when he comes down to earth, he should tell his followers or he should tell the people who believe in Allah to pray 50 times a day. Muhammad said, Allahu Akbar. Muhammad said, I've heard it. And Muhammad came down to where? He came to where Moses was. Moses, he left Abraham, and when he reached where Moses was, Moses asked him, okay, Muhammad, how are you? And when you went, what did Allah tell you? And he said, oh, Allah told me that I should come and tell my people that we should pray 50 times a day. And Muhammad said, 50 times a day. I said, is it not too many times? How do you pray 50 times a day? When prayer can take more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes, why don't you pray 50 times a day? Don't we have time for playing? Don't we have time for our wives and children? Don't we have time where we have to go and watch other things? You understand? Play games and so on. Don't we have time to sleep? Don't we have time to eat? No, go back. Musa told Moses, go back and tell Allah that 50 times is too many. He went, it was reduced. He came to Moses again, and Moses told him that no, it's too many. He went back to Allah, and it was reduced. How many days did it take? Going up and down. He went back again, and at the end of the day, Moses told him that tell Allah that it should be only 5 times a day. 5 times a day. You should pray only 5 times a day. So Muhammad went back to Allah, and Allah agreed that they should pray. Muslims should pray only 5 times a day. And then when he reached Muhammad, he left. You see, Ibrahim was not asking him questions, but Muhammad was asking him so many questions. Then he told Moses that Allah has agreed that we should pray 5 times a day. He said, okay, 5 times a day is better. How do you pray 50 times a day? Let me read the Sahih Muslim again. 1628. Then he was taken up to a height where he heard the scratching of pens. Then Allah enjoined 50 prayers upon his ummah. When I returned, I passed by Musa, and he said, what has your Lord enjoined upon your ummah? I said 50 prayers. And he said, go back to your Allah, to your Lord, and ask him to reduce it, for your ummah will not be able to bear it. Your ummah will be able to bear it. Your ummah will not be able to bear it. So, the question I ask you, what was the main reason, what was the purpose of Muhammad going to where his Allah is? What was the purpose? The purpose was just to receive the number of times they should pray. And the question is, have Muslims not been praying before Muhammad went to his Allah? Have Muslims not been praying? And when they pray, is Allah not happy with the number of times they pray? I believe that Muslims have been praying maybe once or twice or 3 times, or depending upon who you are, what's happening to you. But Muhammad said he went, and when he went and received 50 times, and it was reduced to 5 times. The question is, somebody give me a Quranic verse. Where is Allah asked him to come? So I give the number of times they should pray. And what you ask yourself is, so can't his Allah tell him, whilst he was on earth, that he should pray 5 times a day? Does he have to travel to where Allah is before he can know the number of times he prays? My dear Muslim friends, don't you realize that your Allah is not omnipresent? Your Allah is not everywhere. Because if your Allah is everywhere, I am telling you, your Allah will tell Moses, your Allah will tell Muhammad the number of times his ummah, his followers, or those who believe in Allah should pray. Muhammad does not need to go to where Allah is. But because your Allah is not omnipresent, your Allah is not everywhere, that is why Muhammad decided to go to where Allah is. For Allah to tell him something. The other thing you should ask yourself is, so your Allah, doesn't he understand English or Ga or P? You are a Muslim, and maybe you speak Spanish, you speak English. Why is it that when you come to pray to Allah, you don't use English, but you use Arabic? My Muslim friend, I ask you a question. Why is it that you, Pourquoi? Why is it that you, a French, an Englishman, when you come to pray to your God, you pray to him in Arabic? Don't you think your God is the God of the Arabian Peninsula? When they speak Arabic, your God does not understand English. Don't you realize that? If your God understands English, you're an Englishman. Why should you go and learn Arabic before you can pray to your God? Before you can pray to your God. Or when you pray to your God, you pray, can be to God. Who are you? You are an Ashanti, you are a Frenchman, you are a Spanish man, you are a Frenchman. Pourquoi? That's the guy for the student. First of all, for the function of this food, pass on the petit monsieur, the bush have so like the family, what was saying. You know French, you understand French. The question I'm asking you is, when you, the Frenchman, when you speak, you want to speak to Allah, why don't you speak French, but you speak Arabic? Don't you realize that your Allah does not understand French? Don't you realize that your Allah is not a French God? Don't you realize that your Allah is the God of the Arabian Peninsula? That is why when you are praying to Allah, you have to speak Arabic. Please, like I said, I'm not challenging you. We are not debating. I just want you to reflect. I just want you to think about some of these things. Arabic. Okay, oh Allah, oh yeah, Arabic. You know, oh Allah, I mean, oh yeah. I think so. Person who found who Allah and Kasanu. I didn't know who can we know, and I will fancy no. Now, who person who can Arabic? Who say who Allah no? Auntie fancy, and I won't say. Who say who Allah no? Auntie I be. Look at you. Ah, Pumper, see the blood. Don't you realize that you and my fair neighbor? Or you are from Abatime Petway. Don't you realize that your God does not understand a way? Or you are in Nigeria, you are from you are a Yoruba person, you are from Madiguri. Don't you realize that your Allah does not understand English, does not understand Yoruba, he doesn't understand Igbo? That is why you have to speak Arabic before your Allah understands. Don't you realize it? And your Muhammad went as far as to see your Allah just for the number of times you Muslims should pray. That's why it is weird. It is so weird and so funny. Don't you realize it? Let's go. Let's go on. So there are scratching of pains, and there are other things that happens in this lottery. There are other things that happens in this lottery. Let me look for it in the Quran and tell you. There are things that happen in the lottery. Do you know that there's a Kaaba? There's another Kaaba in where Allah is. There's another Kaaba. You say you know that there's another Kaaba? Yes, they are on earth. There are even more than 5 Kaabas. Muslims, you think the Kaaba is only in Mecca? No, there are about 5 Kaabas. I'll make a video and I'll show you that even on earth there are about 5 Kaabas. 5. When Muhammad was alive and Muhammad realized that there's another Kaaba in that country, he sent his people to go and destroy the Kaaba. But there were other Kaabas he didn't do. I'll make a video and I'll tell you there are more than 2-3 Kaabas. And I'm saying again, according to your Islamic books, according to your Quran, there is another Kaaba in where your Allah is. And do you know what happens in that Kaaba? There are 70,000 angels who, another version says that they worship your Allah daily, 70,000. And that 70,000, I believe they are the angels for those Muslims. Muhammad said that every Muslim will go to hell's fire. I'll put a quotation here. Every Muslim will go to hell's fire. And after that, centuries after that, your Allah will take out only 70,000 and you put them into his paradise. Then you give them 72 virgins and so on. So in the Kaaba, in heaven, there are 70,000 Muslims, 70,000 angels who worship Allah, continue worshiping Allah. Continue worshiping Allah. So there's a Kaaba in your heaven. In your heaven. Do you understand? Let me read another Sahih. Let me read another Sahih. Sahih Buhari 320. Sahih Muslim 164. Listen. Then I was taken up to the 7th heaven. I saw Ibrahim leaning against the Al-Baktua Al-Mamor. 70,000 angels enter it every day and they never return. Another Sahih is saying that every day 70,000 angels enter into this garden of refuge. 70,000. Another place says that there are 70,000 who are there every day and none is added to it. 70,000 who are there every day. 70,000 who are also there every day and none is added to it. So in the Islamic Kaaba, or where Allah is Allah is above the 7th heaven. and you see the lottery, the garden of refuge, and the garden of refuge, you have the Kaaba, and there are 70,000 Muslims who are worshiping the Kaaba. There you see scratching of pens. Let me read another surah. Another surah where the Muslims are told exactly what is in their okay, that is Sahih Buhari 3207. Sahih Buhari 3207. Then I was saying that to 7. Okay, I've read it already. Now Muhammad is supposed to descend to the earth, and then he now has the five prayers they should pray every day. Just that he's been told that he should pray 5 times a day. So Muhammad is coming back to earth. He greeted Abraham, who was in the 7th heaven. He greeted Moses. He greeted Aaron. He greeted Enoch. He greeted Joseph. He greeted Jesus Christ and John the Baptist. He greeted Adam. Then he told them, "Bye-bye, Allah was well. I will see you later." So then Muhammad came back to earth. The question you ask yourself again: how many days does it take even an angel to travel from Allah to earth and back? 50,000 years. And according to and how many days are we? How many days? You see, how many days does it take? How many days did it take for Muhammad to travel to Allah's paradise? If just going takes 50,000 days, coming back is how many days? Another 50,000. And that is 100,000 years. The question you ask yourself is, how old was Abraham? How old was Moses? He was less than 70 years. So don't you see a tautology? Don't you see a tautology? Don't you see a contradiction, my Muslim friend? Don't you see a contradiction? Now let me read another part of another Sahih. Okay, I've read this Sahih already. Now it's returning to the earth, but I want us to have a summary of the first heaven and the second heaven and so on. In the first heaven, he met Adam. In the second heaven, he met John the Baptist and Jesus Christ. In the third heaven, he met Joseph, that is Yusuf. In the fourth heaven, he met Idris, that is Enoch. In the fifth heaven, he met Aaron, that is Aaron. In the sixth heaven, he met Musa, Prophet Moses. And the seventh heaven, he met Ibrahim. And the question we should ask ourselves again: who is Allah? Is he omnipresent? And is he omnipotent? Is he omniscient? If he's omnipresent, that is everywhere, why didn't he tell his Muhammad the number of times they should pray? Why did he tell Muhammad? And if Allah understands only Arabic, Abraham was he an Arab? And he said Jesus Christ is a Muslim. Jesus Christ isn't an Arab. Jesus Christ speak Arabic. When Abraham was there even the Arabic Peninsula? Was he even there? When Abraham was alive, when Moses was alive, was there the Arabic Peninsula where people speaking Arabic? You are not speaking Arabic. You understand? You are not speaking Arabic. You understand? So if there was nothing like Arabic, don't you realize that Allah was just one of the gods? You understand? Was just one of the gods who was imported. And when Abdullah, the supposedly father of Muhammad, Abdullah means servant or slave of Allah. When Abdullah was worshiping Allah, Muhammad was not born. My brothers and sisters, and if you're a Muslim, like I'm saying, I'm not arguing with you, now I'm not debating you. I'm telling you the truth. I've used your Sahih Bukhari's, Sahih Muslims, and your Quran to tell you that no, it's not true. Your prophet didn't travel to any seventh heaven. Your prophet didn't travel from Mecca to the Al-Haska Mosque which is in Jerusalem. Because at the time your prophet was alive, there was something like Al-Aqsa Mosque. The Al-Aqsa Mosque was built from about 20 to 30 years after the death of Muhammad. So there was no Al-Aqsa Mosque. So when your Quran said he traveled from the mosque to the father's mosque, the father's mosque was according to you Muslims, is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is your third or your second greatest mosque. And then from there, he traveled to the seventh heaven. It's also not true. That's why we keep on telling you that when Muhammad took the book of Raja and he was compiling it, he was re-editing it. He put some fairy tales. He put some things that all of us dream dreams. And some of the dreams that we dream, depending upon what is happening, there are some dreams that look so funny. There are some dreams that look so unnatural. So when Muhammad was dreaming, he saw it as Allah speaking to him, and he added it to the Quran, like this one. He was just dreaming dreams. And some are just fairy tales, and some are just folklore of the Arabian Peninsula. They're just folklores. They are not things that are true. But Muhammad added them to the Quran. What added to the Quran? Mr. Muslim, I speak to you again. Muhammad cannot save you. Islam cannot save you. The God that you serve, you understand your language. Muhammad, Isa, Allah doesn't really understand what I'm saying. Unless a demon tells him or tells it. He doesn't understand because he doesn't understand Arabic. If you are saying your Allah understands every language, then when you are praying to your Allah, why don't you speak your language? But you have to speak Arabic. Why? If your Allah really understands what I am saying, or if your Allah understands your language, then when you are praying, speak to Allah in the language that we are born with. May God bless you, may God touch you. Botwe-Chrysolite. If you're a Christian, please I pray that you speak to the Muslims. Tell them about Christ. And if you're a Muslim, please give your heart to Jesus Christ. He's the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes unto the Father except through him. Please give your heart to Jesus Christ. And I come against any demonic activity against your life as a Muslim. I rebuke every hand of the devil against your life. And I declare that you know Jesus Christ. May he appear to you in your dreams and visions. In Jesus' name. And I pray that even the things that we have been telling you on social media, in radio, on television, may it touch you. And may you come and know Christ as your personal Savior. You are a Muslim. I rebuke any hands of the devil against your life. In the name of Jesus Christ. May God bless you. May God touch you. And if you're a Muslim, if you're a Christian, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to share. See you in the next video. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.